This ESPN podcast is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com.
Passion, opinion, must-hear radio. This is the Paul Finebaum Show. And now, Paul Finebaum.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. We are out of SEC Media Days for the first time. I think I can breathe. I have broken the bank on Advil after 4 days in a hotel lobby. Yesterday being one of the most intense days ever on the show. As we talked to Nick Saban, we're joined by about half of the television cameramen in Alabama, plus a few thousand of our closest friends. But it was entertaining. It was not a memorable media days. I was talking to someone earlier today about any real highlights, and quite frankly, I'm not sure I can come up with any. John, it's your first media day, so it's not like I want to put you on the spot, but from an objective standpoint, what happened in Birmingham between Monday and Thursday afternoon?
Well, I don't know if this is going to come off objectively, but I will say no question that the highlight of the week is when Saban came down to the hotel lobby when there's 75 fans waiting there, 75 to 100 all day long, comes down, sits down with you, and that objectively, it might not sound objective, but it is. It is. That was the moment of the week.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was too, because there really wasn't anything else. But speaking of that, I realize some of you may not have heard Nick Saban, but he had some very interesting comments. I want you to listen to two things that he said. First of all, talking about Steve Spurrier.
Well, the first comments I heard, I really felt like we were failing in Alabama. That was my first thought, that, sounds to me like we recruited pretty good, but we're really failing. There must be a new standard of success that, we all should be aspiring to. But, Steve's a great coach and a good friend, and I really have a tremendous amount of respect for what he's been able to accomplish over a long period of time and some very good programs that he's worked hard to build. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for him as a coach, and it's always difficult to play against, and his teams are always well coached and tough, and we have a tremendous amount of respect for him, and I don't really take much of any comment that he made, and I just figured out a long time ago that I couldn't coach bad players to play good, so I thought I needed to be a good recruiter to be a good coach, so maybe that's why we try to do such a good job of recruiting.
Let me try to dissect that. I walked away thinking it was really very negative. I ran into someone at the airport who didn't necessarily hear it that way. It was interesting to watch Saban. I mean, he was very fatigued. He'd been there all day. Obviously, this was at the end of the day before he left. It was just you could see his eyes burning when he was talking about that. And then he did what he always does. Nick Saban has become the elder statesman of college football, and he always, if I said, Nick, what do you think about Jerry Sandusky? I think he said, I've got a lot of respect for Jerry Sandusky. He runs a really good program. That's a standard Nick Saban line. I'm sorry, I don't believe Nick Saban and Steve Spurrier are friends. I know both of them pretty well. I think Saban is sick and tired of Steve Spurrier's attacks. I think he's had enough of it, and that's what you heard there. And he added the caveat, and I thought it was particularly interesting that Spurrier along the way also added his praise for Gus Malzahn. So they're two distinct camps in the SEC, and Steve Spurrier and Nick Saban are not part of the same camp. Spurrier is eyeing Saban right now. I think Spurrier thinks he's got a good enough team to compete. He's playing with Saban's head. I'm not sure he's getting to Saban to the point where it's going to affect him, other than there was a flicker of anger in Saban's eyes yesterday, and that's my take. Again, I'm not sure how easy it was to judge with the commotion that was around us, but that was a takeaway. He also, Coach Saban also had a very interesting comment about players and discipline, and it's gotten a lot of attention in the aftermath. So let's listen back to that.
We've never had a player that had a problem that when we got rid of him, he ever amounted to much or did anything anyplace else at another school or really even had much of an opportunity to graduate. And discipline is something that you learn off the field, and you take it to the field, just like you develop strength in the weight room, and then you take it to the field. Well, that's what we're trying to do with the discipline of our players in terms of how they act off the field and how they play on the field.
So those are some of the comments. We'll grab phone calls here in the program. Plenty of time for that, 855-242-7285, and looking forward to getting your reaction since we did not get much opportunity yesterday to talk about Saban's comments. Plenty to dive into there, and we will do that. It was certainly an interesting week on many accounts, and many other comments that I thought did resonate. One of the most interesting, I thought, came from Tom Luganbill of ESPN. We talked to him on Wednesday, and his comments on where Alabama is right now was fascinating. Let's go back and listen.
I have not seen a group of wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs as a core group as talented and as deep as the one Alabama has right now from Alabama in over 20 years. I think they are absolutely loaded at those spots. So, of course, all the magnification goes on what happens at the quarterback spot. But I don't think top to bottom, depth at each position, 2 deep, 3 deep, up and down the line, you can compare Auburn's roster yet, because they don't have those successive groups coming in that have built the foundation that Nick's been able to build in Tuscaloosa right now. If average were to include that he doesn't make catastrophic errors, they're so good around him on offense, they can live with that. And I think average would be something that they could get by with, but maybe not be good enough to win with in a distinct, difficult road environment. From what I've seen of their current roster of quarterbacks, and having seen Jacob Coker play in 2 games before he got injured last year, having Florida State a couple of times, and then seeing him in fall camp, he is far and away better physically than what Alabama has currently on the roster. This won't be a matter of, is he better physically to be the quarterback of our team? It's going to be, how quickly can he play catch-up in a 3.5 week time span during training camp. If he plays the way I think he's capable of playing, and I will say this, I think he marries very well his skill set with Lane Kiffin's identity, they've got a chance to be special on offense.
So there you have it. That was Tom Luganbill during our SEC Media Days conversation. We will open the phone lines here in a moment, 855-242-7285. Your thoughts and conversations about SEC Media Days. We'll also look ahead to the season. All of that on the program. We've only just begun. We're out of SEC Media Days, but ready for the college football season. We'll be right back.
Call Finebaum now. 855-242-7285. That's 855-242-PAUL. This is the Paul Finebaum Show.
Don't forget, on Monday, we'll begin a sneak preview of the future on this program, beginning at 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 Central Time. We'll be on television on ESPNU between 3 and 4 Central Time, and then on ESPN2 between 4 and 4:30. Obviously, everyone must be on vacation in Bristol for them to put us on, but we'll take it. And I'm sure one of the highlights of those 2 shows will be our next caller. Sir Charles.
Charles
from Unreal,
Paul.
from Unreal
I'm so
Town.
glad you back.
Charles, I got the critics said your call the last 2 days has been so bad that if you don't shape it up, they're going to cancel the show before it even starts.
Big deal. So what? I don't care what they think. You know that. Charles,
one question, Charles. Charles.
Who likes and who don't like it.
One question.
Hurry up and ask it.
Were you able to stand up yesterday after the vicious, and I mean vicious, beatdown that Greg McElroy gave you?
You got to be kidding yourself, Paul. You know what? Greg McElroy didn't say a word. He didn't know what hit him. I come in there, I paid him back 4 years ago. You and him got together, and you let me talk to him on the phone down at the media day. And I tried to be, he said I was his favorite caller, and he was nice to me, and I tried to be nice to him, and God knows, when I hung up that phone, I never heard the last of it from you. Charles Wildown got a beat down from Greg McElroy. Oh, Greg McElroy, he's Charles Wildown's favorite caller. He's going to turn Charles into an Alabama fan. I never heard the last of it, Paul Finebaum. You still bringing that crap up. What's the matter with you, son? I gave him a beat down, and he didn't know what hit him.
Charles, you gave him a beat down like a lobster gives somebody a beat down after being put in boiling water at a restaurant. I mean, you got fried, buddy.
Huh? Have you lost your flipping mind?
No, I have not lost my mind, Charles. I mean, I know a beat down when I see a beat down, and Greg didn't even lift a finger. I mean, he toyed with you.
He didn't know what to say. You know what I think about you saying that, Paul? Huh? You hear that?
Well, that did something that I didn't. You proved a point there that I really didn't think possible. It proved to me that you actually have indoor plumbing, Charles.
Well, that proves what I think about all your big talk you've been running. What you like Nick Saban? He's running his big mouth. Everybody running.
He's not running his big mouth.
Huh?
He's not running his big mouth.
Yes, he is, done it. He don't have to. Everybody's doing it for him. All the bands out there running that big mouth about Nick Saban. He Mo Luganville, whatever his name is. What does he know about?
It's really not a difficult name.
Alabama ought to be great because Jacob Coker is so great. Where's he ever seen Jacob Coker play football at? Huh? He ain't never played no football. Nick Saban?
Charles, one-trick pony. That's all you are.
You know I'm going to talk about Alabama because you brought it up. You brought it up, mister. You listen. Let me tell you something.
Have you been following, Charles, have you been following the British Open this morning?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. I see Tiger Woods might not even make it cut. Let's get back to football, Paul.
Okay,
Let me say, Paul,
didn't mean to bring
I got
up
even with Greg McElroy.
like the
I'm
British
going to get even with you, Paul. I'm going to get even with you. You don't play. I've got even with you a lot of times, but I called you out a couple of weeks ago about you and Nick Saban that you'd come out of the closet and express your love for him, and that showed through yesterday in your interview with him. I bet you were slobbering all over the place. I wish I could have seen you on TV, Paul. That's what I wish.
I will say this, Charles. I'm glad that interview was not on television.
I wish it was on television because I want to see it and I want everybody else to see it. I know what I do. I know. You know what? Somebody emailed me and told me they seen you in a big store up there in Birmingham buying panties. Now, I guarantee you were buying them for yourself. You wasn't buying them for Nick Saban. I guarantee you that. And another thing, Paul, I love it when the plan comes together. And the plan's coming together next year, and Bryant in the stadium, we're going to give Nick Saban and Alabama a country boy ass whooping. We're going to win the SEC West, and we're going to win a national championship. And that ain't a dead blind thing Nick Saban can do about it, but stand up and be a man.
Okay, obviously life has returned to normal. Let's talk to Sparrow next. Hello, Sparrow.
Hey, Paul, you sound great. I'm glad you're out of that noise machine. It's hard to hear when you're around all that crowd, you know what I mean?
I'm actually going to be in Huntsville in a couple of weeks, but how about a happy birthday to Sparrow?
Hey, you got that? My brother called me. He's like,
your brother, he didn't tell me. He took it out in the New York Times. I mean, he told everybody that would listen.
That's funny.
How did you celebrate your birthday?
Woo, Paul, there's a place called Bar Louie in Bridge Street Mall, and oh my goodness, we got that place rocking. That was a good night. Wednesday night was. But, yeah. Well, thanks for that, Paul. Appreciate it. But, Paul, seriously, I want to say a couple things, and it's actually about football. What why does, when someone's successful like Saban, they get a target put on their back? And I wanted to ask you, do you feel like a target's on your back now that you're an ESPN guy?
Well, I mean, I think people. I mean, people have targeted me for a long time, and that just comes with the business. You would rather people do that than ignore you. The worst thing is to be ignored, Sparrow. But
yeah.
I think Saban does have a target because he is successful, and Spurrier just really can't keep his mouth shut. I think that's the problem.
Well, that is, but I'm going to tell you something. These people trying to compare Gus to Nick are out of their dang minds. He doesn't have one national championship as a head coach yet. The one he went to as head coach,
he's only been
a
head coach for 2 seasons, one at Arkansas State and one at Auburn.
So why in the world is anybody even trying to compare him to Nick Saban?
Well, the reason why they're trying to compare him is he had one of the greatest seasons and one of the great comeback seasons of all time last year, and most people believe he's really bright. But Saban, I think you heard that yesterday from him. Like he went 11-2, and people acted like he failed. Well, he did fail, measured up against Saban expectations. Alabama fans don't expect Saban to lose. They don't expect him to do anything other than the national championship. And why is that, Sparrow? Because he continues to deliver.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, Auburn fans, you have not shown yet that you can handle success. You don't know how to do it. Charles, you don't know how to handle success. And I'm going to tell you what, until you learn how to handle success and stand up and take success like a man, Charles.
Take it like a man,
Charles.
Charles.
Nowhere. Nowhere, Charles. Paul, I can't wait to see you. Let us know what day you're coming.
It's probably going to be August 5th, but I don't have a time yet. Okay, but
right.
hold the date for me, Sparrow.
I'm gonna hold you. I'm taking it off, and I'm gonna bring the bus up there. I want you to see it.
I can't wait. Thank you.
All right.
You got it. Elliot is up next. Good afternoon, Elliot. Welcome to our program.
How's it going, Paul?
Really well.
First-time caller, long-time listener. Really enjoy your show.
Wonderful.
The question I have is, so I was watching after the ESPYs the other night, the Roll Tide War Eagle 30 for 30.
Oh, that
really
made it on again?
Yeah, it comes on every now and then. Love to watch it. But the question I had is, seems like they made it a little too early, don't you think? With all the new stuff coming out with Gus and Saban rivalry revamped, everything going on, and was wondering if they were going to try to do, like, maybe an extension to it, or what?
This one's just going to be about me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's going to be called Charles and Paul, the story of Charles from Real Towns. Let me say this: I don't think they made it too early. I thought that season was as dramatic as any I've ever seen because of the obvious of the Updike and the tornado. I do think you'll probably see a 30 for 30, an SEC story on the game last year at the Iron Bowl. There's no doubt that will happen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think as amazing as last season was for Auburn, I still think it was more on the field. That documentary was primarily about things that happen off the field.
Right. Well, thank you for taking my call. Enjoyed talking to you.
Glad you called. I hope you'll call again. Appreciate it. Danny is up next. Danny, what's up?
Hey, Paul, man, fantastic media days. Just really enjoyed the show. I thought Nick's comments were pretty much kind of what I expected him to say, and, you're right. I mean, Nick's got too much class to come out and beat up on Steve. Paul, do you remember me calling you with the wonderful storyline of how Coker's going to devastate Jameis and Alabama's going to avenge the loss, beat Florida State? You were like, man, that'd be a great movie.
I do remember it very well, yes.
Okay, I was catching one of Jim's last calls when he called in and flipped out. God bless Jim. When you think late night TV still belongs to Johnny Carson, and then you jump into social media of the 21st century, and then you're amazed and just angry that somebody could impersonate you. Well, Paul, you know as well as I do, anything that gets floated out on the internet never really goes away. I got you a Danny Sheridan kind of Bagman for lack of a better term, I'll say story. I've got friends that keep up with every dark side of the Internet. And anybody listening, please do not misinterpret anything I'm about to say. If I knew this was true, if I had proof, I wouldn't be talking to Paul. I'd be going for a Pulitzer Prize story. Okay. The allegations against Jameis. Allegedly, there was a video made on a smartphone. Allegedly. And allegedly it was conveniently destroyed. As everybody likes to speculate, when you're young and you're stupid and you're in college or you're privileged or you feel like you can get away with anything, maybe you don't always make the right choices. Well, I've got a good friend, and he's an older guy. He's been around IT forever. He came up through the military around it. Passed along something to me. 3 young men were supposed to be allegedly involved in that little episode where the rape allegations came from, one person obviously operating the smartphone. Before they got paranoid, that video was uploaded to the Internet. Now, I got a brother that's a cop. They got some wonderful stuff. Anybody that likes watching NCIS and see that whole deal go down, a lot of that's fake, a lot of it's real. If that video exists, and they can be identified on that video, here's another chapter to that movie that I hope plays out. Trust me, I want to see Coker destroy Jameis on the field. I don't like him. I don't like Florida State. Can't stand Auburn. I'm a true Bama fan. I want to see that movie play out. But there's the next chapter. If that allegedly destroyed video surfaces, and those young men can be identified, and allegedly...
Yeah, well, let me interrupt you because we're up against a break, Danny, but I really don't think that would make a bit of difference. In my opinion, that case is closed. You better have more than just a video on a phone. It better be corroborating to reopen that case, and I don't think it's ever going to happen. Appreciate the call. Back with much more on a Friday afternoon.
Crafting a new paradigm in sports talk radio. This is the Paul Finebaum Show.
We'll talk to Jeremy Fowler a little bit later on. Joseph is up next.
Yo, what's up, man? Paul, how you feeling hot now?
I'm doing great, man.
Yeah, man, the SEC Media Day, man, should hit some plus signs with the way the attendance was. The Alabama fans were dedicated like that. The LSU fans, was very representative and stuff like that. But one thing I got to sit here and think about, the 25, I hear only 25 Auburn fans showed up. Now, what in the hell is that? They're supposed to be dedicated. Now, why can't Charles from Riddletown, Tammy, or the idiot man explain that? Now, y'all supposed to sit up here and y'all talk about war ego this, war ego that. You can't handle success. You can't even attend a media day properly. Now, I want to know about this quarterback, Nick Marshall, now, who gets caught with weed. Okay, it was just an ounce. Beside the point. Didn't get arrested. Now, that show was slick. Oh, he might well be slick, Marshall, then. And now, look again, we get 2 players get arrested. They should have. That's supposed to happen. But now, we just made it clear that one player is above consequences. We just made that clear, didn't we? But then you got to look at this too. What is it about? Okay, Auburn. Now, if Auburn is really such a top-notch school, come on now, what does it tell you? That when you got attendance, when you got that low attendance like Auburn got, 25. Man, they're supposed to be on fire for Auburn, and now Nick Marshall couldn't come. Well, that's good he didn't. But guess what though? Guess what? Nick Marshall didn't come. They must be more Nick Marshall fans than Auburn fans. And I just think Auburn fans, they just plain, just idiot.
Well, come on, let's not get carried away here. Kevin is up next in Mobile. Hey, Kevin. Thanks, Joseph. Appreciate the call. Good afternoon.
What's going on, pal?
Doing great.
You know what I learned from SEC Media Days this week? Do you have any idea, Paul?
I wouldn't have any idea what anything you've ever done in your life.
Well, I learned that Hugh Freeze sucks at golf, and he likes to bass fish. I learned that you, the genetic freak specimen that you are really picky about what you eat, and eat under 21 grams of sugar to keep that
Where did you hear that?
In check. Oh man, I just pick up on stuff, you know.
Okay.
Also, you know, Nick Saban's evaluating y'all, the media, because y'all suck. And last but not least, since it's July and it's National Cannabis Month, I learned that if I'm in Georgia and if I got 10 grams of weed, hell, I'm just going to get a ticket, Paul. I don't have to freak out, eat my weed, or throw it out the window.
Does it make you feel better to find the one little chink? I don't understand where you're going there.
Well, you know, where I'm going is, you know, cannabis, I would rather see somebody driving 20 miles an hour smoking cannabis than them out drinking at 3:30 in the morning and flip a car and kill themselves. You know, that's me personally.
Yeah, that's you personally.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like to drink and alcohol, you know. Even Hank Williams Jr.
What do you do for recreation?
What I do for recreation? I drink sweet tea and I work out. That's what I do for recreation.
You don't drink. You don't do anything like that. You have never been a drinker, or is this just something new?
No, I've never drank, Paul. Do you drink? I mean, in your profession, I would figure that y'all do it all. A little bit of coke, a little bit of cannabis. You know, Paul, let me stop right here, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you sure y'all want to put this on the air? You know, because I'm not going to be...
I'm really not sure, no. I'm beginning to have second doubts.
I'm serious, because you got Charles calling up in here. Every day he takes a crap on your radio show, and today, literally, he was taking a crap on your show.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, the modern-day John Wayne's not going to be controlled. You know, the bottom line is this, Paul.
You're right, Kevin. I mean, the idea of putting you on television is pretty scary, considering the lack of coherent.
I mean, I'm the black sheep. I'm the black sheep here. I make all the ESPN shows. I make all this and all that. Hell, even Robert wanted me to come up there. Did anybody come down here and pick a limo up for me and fly me up there with them two other so-called callers that you got? The bottom line is this, Paul. I just want to let you know, man, I'm going to try to be a good boy. Once we get on air next week, I want to let all you...
Ed is up next. Good afternoon, Ed.
Hey, Paul. I think what Kevin Nader's gripe is that the two Alabama players that screwed up got arrested. And Nick Marshall was a threat to public safety.
Well, listen, bottom line, he was in Georgia.
Near his hometown.
Well, so what?
Well,
I want to know why you care what his charge was versus what Alabama player. I mean, what does any of this matter? Is what I'm trying to understand.
It doesn't. That's not why I called. I was just trying to tell you what I think Kevin Nader's gripe was.
Well, I get it.
Okay.
Good.
All week, this week, y'all been talking about the concerns about who the quarterback for Alabama is going to be and Lane Kiffin being the offensive coordinator and all that. Right?
Right.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. I didn't realize this was a... I've got to get plugged in here yeah, right.
Come on, Paul, pay attention. You're supposed to listen to your callers.
Well, you're right. That is correct.
Okay, my concern is, and I'm sure you're going to disagree with me, is the two games that Alabama lost last year, the Iron Bowl and the bowl game, I felt like we scored enough points to win. The defense let us down. And I'm not saying let's fire Kirby Smart. I'm just saying I'm concerned about. You
know what? I agree with you. I didn't think Kirby Smart did a particularly good job at all last year. And Alabama had Auburn on the ropes, even though they failed to convert. All they had to do was make a stop or two, and that game was over.
Yep. Okay.
And Oklahoma. So yeah, I mean, I agree. Kirby Smart, genius, heir apparent. I thought he had a bad season.
All right, Paul. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Glad we could get that worked out. Let's check out Pierre next. Good afternoon.
What's going on, Paul? First time caller, long time listener.
Glad to hear it.
Well, what I wanted to bring up is I recently seen the comments by Randy Sanders about Jacob Coker saying he had the best arm he's ever seen in 25 years. And I want to preface what I'm going to say about saying that Alabama is a team I root for in college football. But when it comes to Jacob Coker, if he had the best arm in 25 years, and being that we know Jacob, when it comes down to Jameis Winston not being too mobile, how did he not win that job at Florida State, first of all? If his arm is better than Jameis and he's more mobile than Jameis, how could he not beat him out for the starting quarterback job? I feel like Jimbo Fisher is buttering everybody up with Jacob Coker for a fall with Alabama. And also...
Well, I mean, yeah, first of all, I mean, did you see Jameis Winston play last year?
Yeah, I did see him play, and obviously he does have a good arm. So what do you think all this chatter coming from Tallahassee about Jacob Coker having his golden arm?
Well, first of all, I mean, you had Lars Anderson on the program here yesterday say his intel was that he's not connecting at all in 7-on-7. So, I mean, the bottom line is I don't know. We'll find out in 6 weeks. I have a hard time believing he has the best arm of anyone in the last 25 years. That would include, let's see, Peyton Manning.
Right. And also Matthew Stafford, Jamarcus Russell said he could stay on his knees and throw it 80 yards. But, and I have one more other comment, Paul, if you don't mind. Blake Sims, everything that I've seen coming out of spring, not counting the spring game, because as Saban said itself, it was not tailor-made to show off this true skill set. From what I was seeing passing-wise from all the reports that was written up, him and Amari Cooper, it seemed like had a great connection. I just want your comment on why does everybody just quit to just say Blake Sims is not that good when we
one reason, Pierre, is because of the spring game, and I walked out of that place like a lot of people really down on him, and that's not fair. Spring game is a set pattern that whatever Saban wants he gets, but I just felt like he needed to perform in a pressurized environment, and he did not. We'll talk later about the University of Georgia. Had a really nice chat yesterday with Mark Richt. I'll talk a little bit about that later on, and also an overview of Media Days from Jeremy Fowler. More phone calls as well at 855-242-7285. We'll take a break.
Call Finebaum now. 855-242-7285. That's 855-242-PAUL. This is the Paul Finebaum Show. And Xfinity.
This is going to be another running play. Gurley tries to cut it back near right side, 45 to the 40, cuts right at the 30, still going, breaks a tackle at the 20, has blockers in front at the 5, touchdown Georgia! Oh my goodness, 51 yards by Todd Gurley.
That was from last year, and I chatted with Mark Richt about Todd Gurley, and he is really fired up. I mean, I think everyone knows what was missing at various points, particularly in the Missouri game, and Rick seemed comfortable and confident. You would never know that there is some chatter about Rick and how long it's been since he has won an SEC title. You hear more about what he almost did 2 years ago, but Rick doesn't seem remotely concerned about any of that. Jonathan is in Tallahassee. Good afternoon, Jonathan.
Hey, Paul. Good afternoon.
What's up, buddy?
I wanted to know if you think there's a chance that Georgia could make it to the SEC championship with the way their schedule sets up this year. As far as since they have
I don't think there's any doubt Georgia can make it. I think it's we probably have made too much out of the South Carolina game. I mean, Spurrier told me the other day if the winner of that game hasn't necessarily represented the league in recent years. It's been interesting how we think it does, but it necessarily does. I think Georgia has a good schedule.
But
I like South Carolina to get there.
How do people think Missouri's going to do this year?
Not very well. I think Missouri will have a good season. I think Missouri is very, very underrated. Eric is up next. Hey, Eric, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's the first time I've called to listen to you for about 10 years.
Well, thank you very much.
I just want to get your take on a few things. I'm an Alabama fan, but I am a fan of football, so, I mean, I'm not as crazy as half the people that call this show. And
only half?
Tell me if I got this right. The last 2 times Alabama was in this position bringing in a new quarterback, do you know what happened their first year?
Yes, I do.
They won national championship.
Correct.
Okay. Greg McElroy and A.J. McCarron.
Well, I mean, listen. I'm not 3 years old. I mean, I've covered all that. I mean, we do know that. I-Man is up next. Hey, I-Man. Did you know that, by the way?
You got to love that, because that is the one cliche that the Bama fans have been hanging on to for 6 months. You know, every time we get new quarterback.
I appreciate him asking me, though. Did you know that?
Yeah, and then he's.
Hey, I-Man, let me ask you a question, okay?
Sure, go right ahead, Paul.
Did you know it was Friday?
I know it's Friday after the SEC media day.
I mean, that makes about as much sense as what he said, isn't
it? Oh, yeah, because as predictable, Bama fans are glossed over. You know, 5 people saw Nick Saban leave, and you know, it's like a bunch of girls at a Miley Cyrus concert. You know, they never cease to amaze me. And you had Joe Soda on earlier, and he's talking about only 25 Auburn fans showed up. I guess Joe Soda was up there amongst that 150. Isn't that what you said? 150? We're talking about a group of people with a 100,000 seat stadium, 50,000 outside. And 150 fans showed up to watch Nick Saban.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know what it proves. I mean, I'm thrilled that Alabama fans can get close to Nick Saban. Auburn fans but what difference does it make?
You know, Paul, I was more likely to have driven to Birmingham to meet you and John than to hang out and watch Nick Saban leave the building. It's not like Elvis or anything, but you know, as predictable, they're on a 2-game losing streak, and little Nicholas, he comes in and he's got a grudge, and he talks big game against somebody he's not playing and won't play. I mean, these 2 coaches will never meet in the regular season, so they both have to prove something and win the East and the West to get there. And
they will. I mean, they played a couple of years ago.
Well, we're talking about in the future with all this grudge match conversation, you know, being a failure and all that. And I love the fact that the other cliche, you know, we were having some problems with the entitlement. You know, the younger classmen coming in who don't play, by the way, who did not play, by the way, but their entitlement cost us 2 football games. No, you got drug up and down the field. You were the #1 team in the country, one of the best defenses in the country, with the greatest coach in the country, with the greatest recruiting since the history of the game, going back to Fred and Barney and Mr. Slater or George Jetson or anybody, and you got drug up and down. It was 28-28, Bama fans, so don't ever forget that. It was 28-28, and your coach demanded a second, and you got beat. B-E-A-T, beat. You got the hell beat out of you in 1 second. In 1 second, you were flat in the bottom rope looking for a mouthpiece with your jaw dropped down, and you didn't have a clue. You didn't have a clue where you was going, how you was going to get there, who's going to go with you, or if you was in a Chevrolet or a Ford. It didn't matter because you didn't have a clue. Because you were beat on the field, destructed, destroyed, dominated. And, you know, Paul, it always goes back to this. You know, Paul, you're going to ask me, you know what they're going to get with a new quarterback? They're going to get another championship.
And I mean, before we go, let me run one thing by you.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you know that the last time Alabama had a brand new quarterback?
The last time Alabama had it, let me think, Paul. You know, that's been a long time ago since they had a new one.
No, it's not. Greg McElroy and A.J. McCarron both won national championships.
Oh, are you kidding me? When did that happen? You got dates and stats. You got team members. You got teams you can prove it. I don't.
We'll be back after this.